Hey everybody, it's Gomedex, and welcome back to another premiere draft of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, this time on the main account. It is January 1st, so we're technically in Platinum, but everybody else who is in the Mythic ranks has been deranked down to Platinum here, so these should be some high-level drafts of Innistrad Midnight Hunt, at least as high level as you can get in right now, so that we can see what all of the very experienced drafters are doing with the set, which I imagine it's going to be a bunch of blue-black mirror matches, but we'll have to see. So without further ado, let's head into the pack one, pick one. This is a really weak pack overall, to where the best card is just the blue removal spell at common. Revenge of the Drowned bounces something to the top or bottom of the library, which means that it is a full 1-for-1 worth of removal. They'll have to spend a whole draw step getting their card back. And you also get a Decayed Zombie token, which the set has tons of great ways to use, such as the Ecstatic Awakener here. Once again, this is a very imbalanced set in terms of the power level of each of the colors, because the blue and black commons tend to be a lot stronger and a lot deeper than the other colors, and these first two packs really kind of show that off. The first pack, the best off-color card from blue-black was just like a 5/4 haste for 5, which is cute, but like not all that powerful. Here, the best off-color cards are probably like Gavany Trapper to be tapping a creature turn over turn, but like Stinger, Bounding Wolf, Howl the Hunt, Mounted Dread Knight, even Defend the Celestus here are just really, really mid cards, which I guess makes sense. The set's code is mid, M-I-D, for Midnight Hunt. Anyways, pick two. This will be an easy Ecstatic Awakener. This is an excellent card to put you up a card in value when you're sacking a Decayed Zombie token, or just anything else. The Awakener is a great one. Pick number 3, Scab Wranglers, a really good way to use your Decayed Zombie tokens as well. With 3 untapped creatures on board, you can start tapping something every single turn, so that's a pretty exciting pickup. But there is also an Eaten Alive here for an excellent removal spell. This pack, once again, looks like nothing great off-color, although Search Party Captain is actually quite solid, and Contortionist Troop can be reasonable as well. We finally see some decent non-blue-black cards, but again, with the power level of Eaten Alive as removal and Scab Wrangler as a really good way to keep the game under control. We still stick to blue and black as just they have the strongest cards in these packs. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Scab Wrangler here. I think its impact on the game is pretty huge over time, and it is a little bit less replaceable than removal, as the blue-black color pair has a ton, with cards like Olivia's Midnight Ambush here as well in black. Very happy with how this draft is going so far, as it's been pretty simple. Once again, the strongest cards here are Olivia's Midnight Ambush and Flip the Switch, just blue and black cards, so it doesn't feel like we're really getting cut at all. And again, with the color imbalance, even if we were getting cut a bit, it would be possible that the strongest cards would still be in blue and black. Kind of want to take Flip the Switch over the Midnight Ambush. They're both excellent, excellent cards. But with Flip the Switch, we can be 3 cards deep into blue. That way, if black does get cut, we still have like blue-white or blue-red as a really strong alternative strategy to play. Pick 5, Organ Order. Okay, well, this is going to be a nice PSA video for anybody drafting the set who has not drafted it before. It's a 4-year-old set. I'm sure most of the people in these draft queues haven't played it before. So Organ Hoarder is a deceptively good card. It looks good, but it is excellent. This card is stronger than pretty much every single common and uncommon in the entire set, in terms of its win rate, in terms of its value for the mana you put into it. It's just a really, really excellent card. It's even better than the majority of rares and even a few of the mythics. This card is pack one, pick one worthy. This is the definition of a mythic common. So that's an incredibly easy pick there. Now for pick 6, another Revenge of the Drowned going nice and late for us for some more interaction. Love to see it. Love that it's in blue as well. That way we are not married to any secondary color, although obviously we would prefer to end up in blue-black. That is the strongest, most synergistic color pair in the set. Oh boy. All right, pick 7, Organ Hoarder. We take those. Here's a Bait Hook Angler, which is another solid card for any blue deck. A 2-mana 2/1 that then comes back from the grave with its Disturb ability. Disturb being like a very fun version of a creature flashback ability. because it's going to be able to come back from the grave for the disturb cost, but it comes back differently. The disturbed half is always different, usually some kind of flying version of the card, because it comes back as a spirit. So this one comes back as a 1/2 flyer, but love this card. Definitely better than Rotten Reunion. And that keeps us real heavy into blue. Plays very well with double Organ Hoarder. These Organ Hoarders able to potentially shove some disturb or flashback cards in our grave while drawing us cards. Pick number 9, Shady Traveler's quite filler. Devious Cover-Up is much weaker as a counterspell than Flip the Switch, but it can be fun in a super long game if you get 2 copies, as you can loop them together and just grind out the game by milling your opponent out eventually. So that's pretty fun, the Devious Cover-Up. But also not very powerful, not very necessary. It's just a cute thing you can try to do. Pick 10, we'll take another Decayed card. We'll take a No Way Out here in black. That is a super solid playable for any black deck. Bunch of very filler, very mediocre commons here. Pick 11. I'll get a second Devious Cover-Up so that we have that as an option, but if blue remains as open as it has been so far, we're probably going to end up cutting at least one cover-up, if not both of them, by the end of the draft. Shove some filler stuff into the sideboard as we see what we open up in pack number 2. Pack number 2, we open up a second copy of Ecstatic Awakener. More than happy to play that. We're only on 2 removal spells right now, so Silver Bolt wouldn't be an insane card to take later, but I'm not going to take it. Pick 1 here. And that is about it. Considers fine filler, but it's like the definition of a filler card. It just sits there to make your deck a little bit more consistent, letting you dig for what you need a tiny bit with a Surveil 1 and a Draw 1 for just 1 mana. So card's fine, but Awakener's great. We'll take Awakener here. This pack, if it were pack 1, pick 1, or like pack 1, pick 2 or something, could actually have started me in a deck other than blue-black. Like, if we had this as our pack 1, pick 2, and Ecstatic Awakener was gone, then the best cards are Outland, Liberator, and Flesh Taker there. Some black-white sack stuff, maybe some green werewolfy stuff, and also like the Blood Thief. The Shadow Beast sighting's okay as well. That's, I think, one of the better packs we've seen in terms of non-blue-black cards. Pack 2, pick 2, we have Defenestrate here, still pretty low on removal, but Overwhelmed Archivist is also excellent. Draw a card, discard a card when it enters, and you can disturb it later to keep swinging in with it turn over turn. Try to be mono blue because it's funny, but I probably shouldn't. I think the best pick is likely Defenestrate and just lock in on blue-black. I mean, the Archivist is very, very good. Archivist is likely a better card in a vacuum, but we're lower on removal. We do have double Revenge and a Flip the Switch. I'm still going to take Archivist. This just does a whole lot of stuff for 1 card. 3 mana, 3/2. Draw a card, discard a card, plus get a flyer that draws a card, discards a card every turn. It loots for you. Interestingly enough, as strong as blue and black are, Corpse Cobble's not that great. The power of blue and black is primarily with just how deep the commons are in each color, where you have just extremely good cards like Falcon Abomination and Ecstatic Awakener, and Flip the Switch, and Organ Hoarder, of course, at common in these colors. The Signpost and commons and really some of the direct synergy stuff, some of them are just kind of like, okay, like the Corpse Cobble, where the idea is that you're going to clump all of your decayed zombies up into one big menacer, but that's a little bit less consistent than, you know, just a creature that always does something like a Falcon Abomination. No matter what your board is, if you cast a Falcon Abomination, your board's going to be better, but you could draw a Corpse Cobble when you're like out of creatures on board, or you only have 1 decayed zombie or something like that. Pick 4, first pretty mid pack. Locked in the Cemetery is filler removal, if nothing else. And removal is what we're looking for. Bladebrand can be cute with decayed zombie tokens as well. You're going to be making trump attacks with them all the time, so sometimes you can sneak in some extra damage, or sneak in a kill with the Bladebrand. Pick number 5, Diagraph Horde is fantastic. This is the common version of Grave Titan. 5 mana for a 3/4 and 2/2s is absolutely absurd, but those 2/2s are decayed, so they'll die as soon as they attack once, and they can't block. but that's still a ton of stats for the cost, and it shuts off flashback cards and disturb cards from your opponent's grave. Diregraph Horde's excellent. There's also a pick 5 ambitious farmhand here, so it does feel like if black was not the secondary color we'd be going for here, we could go for like a blue-white deck. Ambitious farmhand is a great deal. Pick number 6, nice late defenestrate. Definitely take that. And once again, white looking like the clear best secondary color. The Gavany Dawnguard uses the day and night mechanic to draw you extra cards. Every time you're flipping between day and night by casting a couple spells or not casting any spells, you're digging through your top cards and looking for more creatures. So solid card draw engine, but Defenestrate easily joins this deck. Memory Deluge, pick 7. That's a huge card draw. Instant speed. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 into your mana, into your hand, and the rest onto the bottom. Then you flash it back for 7 later. Look at the top 7, put 2 into your hand, the rest on bottom. That's a great card. Makes our Devious cover-ups and our Revenge of the Drowns better. The more things you have to do at instant speed, the better. The more different kind of things in particular. Ooh, another Diregraph Horde, pick 8. Let's go. Because your counterspells get a lot better when you can like hold up a counterspell and then have a backup plan of like, well, I could draw cards if I don't want to counter it, or I could removal spell a creature. So having like a chunk of 4 mana instants is actually quite nice. If we have our curve just be a bunch of 1 drops, 2 drops, and 3 drops, and then a ton of 4 mana instants, it's going to make it really easy to go like curve a little bit and then just hold 4 mana up for a bunch of different options. Use whatever ends up being the best option. Here we will go ahead and take a Silverbolt, although we actually are getting reasonable enough removal that with a whole 3rd pack to go at this point, I feel like this deck's going to end up strong enough that we'll likely end up cutting the Silverbolt by the end of the draft, although the first draft we did was just 100% going to be a better deck if we had drafted a Silverbolt than I didn't. So, all right, pack 3, pick 1. Infernal Grasp. 2 mana, instant speed, destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. You gotta spend 2 life to do it, but blowing up any creature, period, for only 2 mana. It's not even double black, it's 1 and a black, so it's easily castable as well. This card is great. We will definitely take Infernal Grasp here. Some other cards I enjoy. Larder Zombies, one of the more filler of the ways to use your Decayed Zombies, tapping them all to just surveil one. I prefer the one that damages our opponent, or certainly the one that taps creatures, but this is still a fine way to use your Decayed Zombies if you don't have other ways. Slaughter Specialist is kind of a weird one. I don't remember this ever really being all that good. I mean, it's a fine stat line. 2 mana, 3/3. Your opponent gets a 1/1, then that just keeps getting bigger. Seems fine. But certainly Infernal Grasp is better. Pack 3, pick 2. Dreadhound was a pretty sweet finisher. It's got that Sir Conrad the Grim ability, where every time any creature dies or is put into the grave from anywhere, well, this one's from the library specifically, but your opponent loses a life. So it's going to get a lot of ping damage in the end game, just right when it enters, and then every time creatures are trading off, you're pinging your opponent. So Dreadhound's a pretty strong, pretty fun finisher, but it's competing with Ecstatic Awakener and Defenestrate here. Ecstatic Awakener makes our counterspells like Devious Cover-Up better because it is yet another way to use our extra mana at instant speed. Defenestrate's good, but again, we've got a lot of removal here. We have a Silverbolt and a pinch. I'm going to take another Ecstatic Awakener there. Pick 3, Novice Occultist is a fine card to chump with earlier, a fine card to sack to the Awakeners. Or we could take another Devious Cover-Up and actually just go for full cover-up wins. This is kind of dumb, but I find it pretty fun, and we've got a lot of instant speed stuff to do, so we could try to really lock in on Devious Cover-Up, just really, really grindy mill victories. And this way we don't need... we really don't need any like 6-drop finishers or anything like that at all. Just loop out and grind out the long game by milling our opponents out. We got triple cover up now. We really, really don't need a 4th. But the competition is Silverbolt, Interloper, Heirloom Mirror. I'm not going to run a 4th cover up even if I draft it. I'll take an Heirloom Mirror, although I don't think I'll be running that either. Pick number 5 will definitely run an Eaten Alive. Grab this removal and run it. Vengeful Strangler's fun in some more aggressive decks. It's a 2 mana 2. When it can't block, so you have to just keep sending it in and waiting for them to finally block it and kill it. But then when they do, you can attach one of your opponent's creatures with that Strangling Grasp to ping them turn over turn, or, well, ping them turn over turn and make them sack cards. So because they have to keep sacking a card, I think usually it's just going to like kill whatever you attach it to and make them sack one card. Another Diagraph Horde. Beautiful triple Horde. These are excellent cards with the Scab Wrangler, because one Diagraph Horde is the 3 creatures you need to tap. Another Organ Hoarder now, pick 7. Beautiful. Beautiful. This was a very, very good draft pod to be in. There were a few different ways we could have ended up even building this deck, right? I could have gone for more classic traditional win conditions, ran that Dreadhound and some other stuff, and cut like this whole cover-up counterspell loop nonsense that we're doing right now. We can obviously just win games with Diagraph Hordes too, having 3 copies now. Crawl from the Cellar as well, picking up creatures from our grave, recasting them. We can win games traditionally, but I have focused pretty heavily on a lot of non-creature spells here. So we're going to be a much slower, more controlling version of this deck, but because of how open the color pair was, we could have really gone either way with it. And it looks excellent either way. I don't hate the Unblinking Observer in here, but we need to cut a lot of stuff. We got 14 creatures, slightly on the lower end, but I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm assuming we're going to be shoving 3 more cards into the sideboard before we hop in the deck building here. The draft's taking long enough, though. I might just start cutting stuff here. You technically only need 2 copies of Cover Up to be able to loop them, but with 3 copies of Organ Hoarder, if we randomly end up milling 2 of our cover-ups, we won't be able to loop. If we only run 2 cover-ups, it's probably playing it a lot safer than I need to, but I kind of want to run all 3. Because all you need is 1 copy. If your second cover-up is in the grave, or your first cover-up's in the grave, whatever you want to call it, and then you top deck a second one, then you get to shuffle the first one, and you don't have to cast both of them. So you can mill one of them over and still get the loop going. But if you mill both of them over, then you are gonna mill out. Secrets of the Key is a little better in decks with a lot of instant speed stuff to do, but we have so many cards in here and so much stuff to do, we still need to cut stuff. So it may be a little better here than like it would have been in our last deck, but still probably not better than the rest of these spells, because the color pair was so open, we have such powerful stuff. Like, we're running really good card draw, like Memory Deluge and Triple Organ Hoarder. We do not need the mediocre draw like Secrets of the Key. Same may be true for removal as well. We have Grasp, Defenestrate, Double Revenge of the Drowned, and Eaten Alive. Yeah, we'll get rid of Locked in the Cemetery and Silver Bolts. I may actually end up cutting this Crawl from the Cellar as well by the end of things, because we need 7 cuts. This is only 4 cards getting cut for now. Yep, 3 more cards to go. I'll just play 2 cover-ups. Be fair on that. 2 is enough to loop the 2 together, even if we only draw 1 of them. If the second one gets milled, that works too. I mean, there's certainly an argument that our card quality is high enough that even with a lower creature count, it's a strong enough deck to win without trying to go for big, slow, grindy loops. And Devious Cover-Up up front is the worst value card in the deck. Like for the mana value, 4 mana to counter a spell, pretty mid, compared to 3 mana counter spell and get a Decayed Zombie. Like, unless you're really getting the extra value from the shuffle back, Cover Up is quite filler. And to get the extra value from the shuffle back, you want to be playing like a long enough game, milling yourself enough that you're actually like looping your deck. I feel like this deck can do it. Triple Organ Hoarder. The Archivist as well can draw a card, discard a card every turn. But this deck can also just beat down zombies. And the rest of our spells are all better for their mana costs. It's the worst spell by rate. Man, I want to do the thing. But it feels like the objective cut here is the cover-ups. And then we just have like, vanish the cover-ups and just look at this deck, and it's like, this is kind of the goal blue-black deck. Really. This looks excellent. Should have enough power to win the game before we mill out, but we are milling a lot. Look at the top 3, put the rest in the grave, draw a card, discard a card, put 2 into your hand twice. Surveil. I can't resist. I'm going to cover up loop people. I'm going to cut Crawl from the Cellar and No Way Out. Throw in the cover up loop. Call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how far this can take us up here in the competitive queues. Alright, here we are on the play for game 1. Just premium commons in the hand. We'll run with Ecstatic Awakener and pass. While there is a pretty huge color imbalance in this format, where some of the colors are just far better than the others, like blue and black, one thing that I do like about it, that does separate it from a lot of recent formats, is that there's a much lower difference between the quality of the good rares and the good commons and stuff. Some of the commons are really, really good where you can really fight bomb-heavy decks with just a combination of great commons like this deck has. Could sack one Awakener to buff the other, but I don't really want to do that. We've got a Horde coming up eventually. We're playing against blue-white, which is the Disturb archetype. It's about recasting a bunch of creatures from your grave as their disturbed versions, and they're going for an Ominous Roost deck, which is going to make a bird token that can't block anything but flyers every time they recast something from grave. I think I actually am going to go ahead and flip here to speed things up and get more damage onto them if they don't have a blocker up yet then. Because it will take an astronomically long time to flip the double Awakener off of Diagraph Horde tokens. Looking for a swamp here. There it is. Beautiful. I mean, another Organ Horde would be good, but I'm just going to get the mana. Or if you cast a spell from your graveyard, so yes, Diagraph Horde should be really good in this archetype. Just make sure that we have the mana up, or really good against this archetype, I should say. Hopefully they play some kind of flashback card. I don't hate redrawing an Ecstatic Awakener here. We still have no blockers. Let's just Diagraph Horde away the one flashback card. Make the most of our mana for the turn. Shut off that Ominous Roost. They're down to 10. There's their own Organ Hoarder. Got lethal on board if they don't have a 1-mana way to blow something up here. So let's lean into that. Let's go Falcon Abomination, sacking the Summoning Sick Decayed Zombie to kill the blocker and attack for 10. Blessed Defiance doesn't do anything if we exile it, and that should be lethal. Alright, well, that was a very strong showing from the deck. That also is starting to convince me with how quick that game went. We should probably cut the devious cover-ups and put back in the better cards on rate, like No Way Out and Crawl from the Cellar. But they also played only one creature that could block the whole game, so that's kind of an outlier. If we play a few games and they all go pretty quick, I will have to cut the cover-up loop. Mono blue opening hand. It's a little awkward. On the play with flip the switch into cover-up, I'm still going to keep here. Archivist as well to set up the draws and get closer to the swamp. Island number 5 has arrived. Playing against blue-black, they start with Shipwreck Sifters. Draw a card, discard a card, ditching the Baithook Angler, which puts a counter on the Sifters. Very good. We hit the black source. Let's lead with the Archivist. Ditching an island. Now that we've got our one creature on turn, we have all instants in hand to hold up. There's a Falcon Abomination for our opponent, nice and strong. Ecstatic Awakener is the draw. Don't have double black to like sack anything and try to flip that here, but we'll still play it and hold up, flip the switch. Cover up is better later after there's already cards in your grave, so we already only want to cast flip the switch anyway. I mean, we could hold the Fenestrate up and that would be fine. But we definitely wouldn't be covering up this turn. Here's the actually good signpost uncommon for blue-black. Just a 2-mana 2/3, all your zombies get +1/+0. That's actually a very strong one. I think whenever we do cover up, we probably don't want to shuffle flip the switch back in, though, because then by the time we draw it, there is a distinct chance that we don't have enough, or I guess our opponent does have enough mana to just pay for it. Awkward. Draw another Awakener without the next black source. I believe we are just going to hold up the mana then to flip this one off of our zombie. And if they cast anything good, we'll cover up instead. Cover up can shuffle cards from your opponent's grave back. Oh, no, it can't. Well, I'm glad I read it. I feel like there was some card like this that can, like a Guy's Blessing style play. They're going to pick up the Blade Stitch Scab and put a +1/+1 counter on Falcon Abomination. Yep. I'm allowing that because if I try to counter it now, they could have their own, like, flip the switch. But if I do the cover up instead, then they can't. I could Defenestrate as well and save the cover up. I think I'm gonna Defenestrate actually. And this gives cover up more stuff to shuffle in. And then I drew the second black so that I could now Defenestrate and sack with Awakener, but I chose to already cast Defenestrate instead of cover up. Taking 4 in the sky a turn, we've got to get some removal that can actually shoot flyers. But we've got a decent chunk of removal in the decks. There's a lot of live draws. Okay, they don't have flip the switch mana this time. So I counter that instead of countering the Scab. Take our 4 in the sky. 2 from the zombie. Down to 9. Block with Archivist there to flip it into a flyer could be okay, but then I'm like not blocking those on the ground well. I need flying stuff. I don't think this Diagraph Horde matters enough to not just draw some cards. There we go. Scab Wrangler plus Diagraph Horde. That'll be huge. Eating alive the Awoken Demon. Yeah. That's a lot better for us than if they ate the Scab Wrangler. Revenge of the Drowned is a huge one. We gotta lead with this Horde, though. I should have attacked first, but... Defenestrate the Diagraph Horde once again. Really happy for them to not kill the Wrangler. I'll take the 4. Now we have the mana to Revenge the Drowned and flip this Awakener. We need 6 creatures on board for a double tap, but cannot double tap without holding a blocker up. I need to hold Awakener up as a blocker, and then single tap Falcon Abomination, I believe. Actually, Archivist up as a blocker is already going to be good enough here. Because the trade is good for us, because then we get a flyer. I was supposed to attack with the zombie too. Well, I guess it's more damage to sack the zombie pre-hits either way. Yeah, I didn't need to full control at all. I was trying to do something goofy where I was going to attack with a decayed zombie and a 4/4 and get both of them in, but that doesn't work. Okay. Wait till their upkeep after they draw. I guess we wait till combat. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Exact lethal. Exact lethal if they don't have removal. Then I would die on the crackback. I'm in a really safe position to try to win the long game instead of trying to pray neither of these cards are removal. Because if I go for it and cast both these removal spells, I die to removal hard. Well... no, I don't. I take 1 on the crackback. I'm going to be at 1 life. Because I'm going to lose 2, go to 2, and then take 1. I just don't think it's worth the risk. We have such a clean, kind of, like, safe route to victory right now. We just do that. Go for the 2-turn kill instead. Okay. Really good recovery there. Lots of strong flying damage from our opponent early, but that game shows off the power of the Scab Wrangler. I think we would have lost if they killed Scab Wrangler with either of their removal spells, but that card really stole that game in the end. Beautiful stuff for us. That is going to be 2-0, and very much considering cutting those devious cover-ups. But again, I'm going to give them at least 3 games to see if all 3 games end with us having at least like 20 cards in our deck like they've ended, then I really don't think going for the really grindy win is worth it at all. We've got more than enough power and stat lines to end the game the traditional way with combat damage. Here we are on the draw with another beautiful opening hand. We have 2 Ecstatic Awakener, an Organ Hoarder, and a Diagraph Horde. Just card quality. Our opponent starts with Novice Occultist, That 1/2 body. Too big for our Ecstatic Awakeners already. There's Celestis Sanctifier, black-white deck from our opponents. That can keep, not drawing, but like surveilling every time day flips to night, night flips to day, all that. Good draw, we get something to play this turn, because they didn't really want to sack an Awakener to an Awakener. Play a Bait Hook Angler for now. This looks like a game where the board's going to be cluttered up enough that we don't really want to just try to push 4 damage Awakener swings early. So we can wait till later and get maximum value off of these Awakeners, sacking some really expendable creatures. Baneblade Scoundrel. Whenever this becomes blocked, all the blocking creatures get -1. So it's essentially like unblockable right now. Even if I play Organ Hoarder, it's going to be essentially unblockable. And it's awkward. Oh, I can pass holding up a cover-up, and that also keeps the Scoundrel off of me, because if they try to... Oh, it's nighttime. I forgot about the day-night mechanic! This thing's a werewolf! Well, that was a punt then. Because now, even if I flip an Awakener, it's blocking as a 3/3 against a 5/4 versus blocking as a 3/3 against a 4/3. The idea was that I was going to block the 4/3 with a 3/3, but I forgot it's a double-faced card. That day-night mechanic is going to keep getting me in these early drafts. It got me a lot in the first draft too, but we still managed to 7-0 luckily. Alright, we'll just take the 5. So we just need to draw removal for that thing. It's just way too big of a problem for this deck. I'm not going to sack an Occultist, or counter an Occultist. I will sack an Angler. There's the Fenestrate for Marauder. It's exactly what we need. We can also flip it back to day if we want. But I don't actually think we want to do that. Because they get another Sanctifier trigger if I do so, and they're in black-white. That is not a werewolf-heavy color pair. So I don't think we want to give them another Sanctifier trigger. Because I'm not sure that outside of that Scoundrel, they're going to have anything else that benefits from it being specifically nighttime. But we know for sure they have something that benefits from us flipping back to day. Okay, there's an Eaten Alive, sacking an Occultist, decent value. Yep, take the 3 then. Go to 12. Lunarch Veteran is here. And they have flipped back to day to surveil. Play this Archivist and flip Awakener is the most mana-efficient play. I enjoy that. I'm discarding a cover-up. This cover-up has not been looking good, I tell you what. Just gonna turtle up for now. No attacks. I don't want to ping for just 1 damage and have 1 less blocker here. Just gonna pass through. Sure. Keep digging. They get a Sanctifier mill again. Mills a Swamp. Eaten Alive for us. Organ Hoarder for land, play Abomination. If we don't hit a land, we can still play Awakener. Feels reasonable. We hit a land. Actually a very good Organ Hoarder mill for us. That Sanctifier Surveil has been going just full value here. Rite of Oblivion, sack the Occultist to get rid of the flyer. They don't flash it back immediately, so I'm going to Diagraph Horde it away. Although, one of the sketchy parts of Blue-White is how many flyers they have if these things die and come back as flyers. So I'm going to see if we can clear out any of them on attacks. Then I'm going to Horde away Rite of Oblivion and hopefully one of those flyers as well. This all looks great to me. Let's Diagraph Horde away the bigger flyer, which is the Morning Patrol. It's a 2/1 flying vigilance, right? Yeah. And also the Rite of Oblivion. Drop a larder zombie, we can get surveilling ourselves, and Ecstatic Awakener to have 6 creatures on board to surveil twice. It's quite good for our opponent. Full on board wipe here. We'll keep it eaten alive on top. There may be less bomb rares, but bomb rares do still be bombing. They've only got 1 card left in their hand, though. I think we can still manage to draw better than them, hopefully. Just because our card quality is so consistently high. But their first draw is a Diagraph Horde. I mean, that could have been in their hand already. They had 1 card. They had, I guess, 2 cards before this turn's draw step. Diagraph Horde post board wipe is filthy. I have to Deluge. That means I can't Eaten Alive without sacking my Archive Haunt. I really think I need to just kill this Horde. They're playing completely off the top now. So we kill the Horde and we have the trade for the flyer. We take 4 from these zombies. So we're essentially at 6. We're in a top deck, we're at 6 life, basically. Mask of Grizzlebrand's essentially unbeatable with Decayed Zombies. Because you just draw 2 every time you send them in, and they're flying as well. Your late cover-up, I'm cutting these cover-ups so hard here, it's not even funny. They're spending mana to equip their mask as well. So Flip the Switch might actually get to counter something even this late because of mask mana usage. $12 cards left in their deck. No 2-drop, please. They did not have a 2-drop. Oh boy. Oh boy. Really would like the 8 mana to do 2 things in 1 turn. Should play an Organ Hoarder, pick up a land. Another pretty perfect Organ Hoarder hit. What is their hand? What is their hand? They've drawn 4 extra cards these last 2 turns. Like, not mention just natural draws. Are we vibing here? It's a loyal Griff. Sure. Poke me for 2 on the crackback. I'm mana off from Horde plus cover up. So we just hold up the cover up and deluge if we don't. So go to 4. Scab Wrangler, Diagraph Horde, keep their stuff stuck. Is it like all flash creatures here? What is going on? Sure, I'll cover that up. I don't want Defenestrate when we're playing against the Mask here. I don't want Infernal Grasp either, though. I guess I just do the 3. Because you could Devious cover up for like only cover up and then just draw it and play it again every turn. Candle Trap is fine. Draw the cover up, let's go. So that's going to be chillin'. That's going to be available for us to use with Scab Wrangler every turn. It doesn't win them the game, so we just allow that. I guess if they hit 2 good spells off of it, I can only counter the 1 now, so maybe it was still worth countering. Scab Wrangler OP, baby. Quantifiable proof. Even after stressing and thinking I was gonna just die to rares after saying that commons and uncommons, particularly in blue-black, can compete with like the best of rares, we genuinely did. I mean, we played a Memory Deluge. We had our own rare, and Memory Deluge was fantastic this game. It drew us 4 cards. It was very, very good. Pivotal in that victory, getting us the extra card advantage. The extra cards that we needed to help try to stabilize. But everything else was just our collection of really good blue and black commons and uncommons, and it fought through Mask of Grizzlebrand plus Vanquish the Horde. Now, they also drew very few creatures after the Mask of Grizzlebrand. Very strange, very awkward draws for them. But still, commons and uncommons just shining in this format. And I will say once again, if I never cast a single copy of Devious Cover-Up, I still would not have milled out. So, even in that, the longest game we played so far, Cover-Up was not particularly necessary. So now going 3-0, seeing all of these games not really go that long towards the full mill. And that looked like out of all the games, the one that was going to go to milling out, because our opponent was drawing a bunch of extra cards, and they board wiped all our creatures away and stuff, and then still, even after that, I got enough power on board to win the game normally. So I'm just going to focus on winning the game normally. I'm going to cut the cover-ups, and I'm going to play No Way Out. I could just play one cover-up still. I didn't mind cover-up as just another counterspell. Obviously, it would be better, because the games aren't coming down to mill, a couple more flip the switches would be better than a couple cover-ups. But just the counterspell half of cover-up was playing fine, even if it is, again, much less efficient than the flip the switch. So we do one No Way Out, one cover-up. But I do like the Crawl from the Cellar too. We're getting some pretty full graveyards by the end. We've got a lot of great creatures to pick back up. Yeah, no, we're going to try the full pivot here. And then maybe we're going to end up in a game where I really wish I had the cover-ups, and then we'll pivot back, and then we'll just be super indecisive. But we're 3-0 heading into game 4 now. All right, here we are on the play for game number 4. Undefeated so far. And this hand looks excellent. We'll see if it can't continue that trend for us. Playing against the black deck. Lead with our bait hook angler. Black-white. That is my favorite non-blue-black archetype. Find it pretty fun. Main deck, 3-bin Exorcism gets us. Drop the Overwhelmed Archivist here. Draw, discard, finding a third swamp. We'll ditch that. They got the Dinosaur Plains. That's fun. Adeline. That is a super strong rare, but this format is chock full of great efficient removal, and luckily, so is my hand. Let's get rid of Adeline immediately. And jam. This was a Pioneer All-Star for a long time. Pioneer was the format that I would grind out my dailies in for a while, just mono white humans. Adeline's fantastic in that deck, or was. I'm sure the metagame has shifted by now. You can Infernal Grasp my creature that has a disturb ability. That is super fine by me. No flip the switch necessary. Soul Guide Gryph, I will flip the switch so we keep our creature in the grave, and there's the concession from our opponent. That is 4-0, heading into game 5. Alright, here we are on the play for game number 5. Really good luck on the die rolls lately, on the play a couple games in a row. This is a sick curve. Awakener into Angler into Archivist. It's a beautiful way to start a game. Opponent's a green deck. Let's go. We haven't seen green in a little while. It's one of the weaker colors in the set. It is an Esper format, in my opinion. I like all of the color pairs that involve blue, white, and black together. So blue, black, black, white, and blue, white are my favorite decks. And I think they're all the strongest decks as well. Green and red, of course, lagging behind, which is why, sadly, Werewolves, the green-red deck, the deck that you would think should be the strongest in Midnight Hunt, is tragically kind of the weakest archetype in this set. Werewolves got pretty good, though, in Crimson Vow, the next Innistrad set. Our opponent is on green-black, I should specify. But the only card they've played all game is a 1/4 Werewolf. Send in the party and see what they're holding up here. Olivia's Midnight Ambush on the Awakener because of the fact that it's nighttime. Even if I flip Awakener, it'll die. It's -13. So put them to 5, drop the Diagraph Horde, and as long as they don't have a Meat Hook Massacre, which I believe is the only board wipe in black in the set, we should have lethal here. Meat Hook Massacre, of course, being a mythic rare board wipe. Constructed All-Star as well. That one is pretty unlikely, again, because it's a mythic rare. So they did not have it, and we are now 5-0, still undefeated, all the way into the money this draft, heading into game number 6. Our lucky streak continues. We're on the play again for game number 6. Awakener into Angler, sack the Angler turn 3, and then Memory Deluge to make sure we got plenty of cards to play around with. There's even a crawl from the cellar to bring somebody back later now. Unblinking Observer. Hits the board, says what up. We'll hit for 4 here instead of 3 and draw our card. Looking for a second island, not finding it. Mono blue from our opponent so far. There's their Falcon Abomination. They still don't have good blocks for Awoken Demons, so we are just putting the pressure on their life total. Archivist Crawl from the Cellar looks good. I was going to No Way Out, but top deck a stronger creature, and we just run that thing out. It also digs for that blue for Deluge. If it's going to be a while till I hit the second blue anyway, I think we just drop it in the grave to allow it to flashback later. Yeah. Drop Ecstatic Awakener. Copy number 2. There's Organ Hoarder, the Mythic Common. 1 card in their hand, 2 islands in the grave. Maybe they went full mono blue like we were thinking about at the very start of the draft. It's like, I mean, blue was absolutely open enough in our pod to go mono blue, but you just get extra power by moving into a second color, even if your first is open enough. Okay, so they're going to go full defense here. I can only play 1 piece of interaction. I don't mind any Archivist trade. I think we just send in everybody but the Awakener here. Cool. I can Revenge of the Drowned for mana efficiency, but that gives them a decent play for next turn. I think as long as I don't choose Organ Hoarder, that's fine. Okay, they put it on the bottom. They don't want it anyway. They might actually be 2 colors then if they're putting that on the bottom. Here's another Organ Hoarder. We're attacking with 2 4/4s here. They chump 1, take 4, go to 7. They are blue-black. It is the mirror match, but they're having bad mana issues. Tempted to Infernal Grasp to just lock in that I'm hitting them for 8, but all they can do is chump, so I don't even think I need to. Yeah, they just don't even want to block. They go to 3 and we pass, holding up the Grasp for their end step. Falcon Abomination. Grasp the Organ Hoarder. They grasp a demon. If we hit any removal, they're dead. Not removals. They're not dead, but they have to chump, which is still good. And then I think we want to just play multiple flyers at that point. Okay, they're conceding. They are not into the way this game has gone. Really bad mana issues for our opponent are going to carry us to victory nice and quickly there. Yeah, we had a lot of options here, so I did have to think it out, but I'm pretty sure the play is force the chump and then just play multiple flyers. 2 different flying threats, so a 4/4 and 2 flyers. If any single creature hits them, they're dead. That feels like the best board state we can get ourselves in. I mean, like, we could No Way Out them and mess with their hand, but I don't really think that's better than getting a wider board of evasive threats. Either way. Very simple game there, just some bad draws for our opponent. They had a great deck as well. We saw multiple Organ Hoarders, multiple Falcon Abominations, Infernal Grasp. We just drew a bit better there, and that will lead us to victory 6-0 Heading into the final battle of this draft, are we about to 7-0 twice in a row in Innistrad Midnight Hunt? That would be pretty sick, and it would absolutely point out that the first one was not a fluke from playing in the lower draft queues. If we do it again up here in the Platinum queues on day 1 of the season reset. Alright, we're in our opponent's position this game. 2 swamps and 5 blue spells. That is going to be a forced mulligan to start us off. And that has both colors, but if we don't hit lands, it will be very bad. A lot of 4 mana cards here, but if we hit 1 land, we get to Archivist. That digs us 1 card closer to the next. I'm going to keep here, ditching the 5 mana play, and hoping for the best on the draw. Playing against a white deck. Lunarch Veteran starts them off. And the better white commons. Our first draw is another 4 mana card, which is certainly awkward. They are blue-white. Very strong deck. We have hit our land, so we know that we'll be playing a 3-drop on turn 3. Cathar Commando, flash in the 2-drop 3/1. They might 1-2-3 curve us on the play, and that is going to be a lot to try to stabilize from. Take 4, go to 15. And they do indeed. Excellent opening hand for our opponent on the play. 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop here. Technically, because they attacked with 2 creatures, the captain only cost them 2, but it's a very good turn 3 play. Here is our Archivist for our first blocker. Luckily, it's the kind of blocker we are more than happy to trade into anything. Their creatures are all on the ground so far, so I think I'm ditching a Revenge of the Drowned and just trading Organ Hoarders off if we get the mana. Although not drawing the land off this Archivist makes discarding the 5-drop tempting again. I'm going to ditch the Revenge of the Drowned, though. I have so many 4-mana plays. If we hit land 4, we can spam these multiple turns in a row before we need to play Diregraph Horde, and I think Diregraph Horde is good in this matchup, potentially clearing out some spirits. Oof. Alright, yeah, that is a huge tempo swing, a very fast hand from our opponent. They got to use all of their mana up each turn. The fact that the Search Party Captain cost them only 2 was also huge to allow them to unsummon the first blocker we play. Massive life total damage here. There's Falcon Abomination. We do hit land 4 in time, but I think their hand's just so fast that doesn't really matter. We would have needed a hand with a 1 or 2 mana creature, and forced on the mull to 6, we were not going to mulligan farther just to try to find a 1 or 2 drop. Yeah, I don't see any shot of victory from here because we're taking 7 this turn. Even if they cast nothing, I have to find a way to survive at 2 life the turn after this. Celestris doesn't really do anything. But again, their current board already wins very quick. The only way to not die is to deal with 2 of their creatures. And the only way to deal with 2 of their creatures is to revenge at sorcery speed so that I can sack something to Eaten Alive. That's really awkward. All their creatures have good enters. Because I have to kill both of the 2-power creatures, so I have to either let them draw a card or let them get another zombie. I think I have to let them draw another card. Because if I'm letting them get another zombie, not only is their board guaranteed wider, but I'm also letting them get a flyer back. Oh, if they have a counterspell as the last card? Oh, yeah. That's mega dead no matter what. That was just an exceptional opening hand from our opponent and a pretty mediocre one from us since we did have to mold a 6 and then keep a hand that started on turn 3 on the draw. Just good tempo from our opponent, good beats. Very predestined game of Magic. 6-1 heading into game number 8. Alright, here we are on the play again now for game number 8 with a larder zombie. Funnily enough, a single larder zombie might have bought us enough time last game to try to stabilize. That would have stopped a lot of that early damage. I mean, just trading that into the 3-1, yeah, would have stopped like 9 damage throughout that game. Ooh, blue-black from our opponent. This opponent has the Ghoulish Procession, which is a very strong card. Every time any non-token creature dies, they get another Decayed Zombie. Very cool, very strong. Kind of build around uncommon here. This probably got flipped the switch here. We do not want them to flip the Organ Hoarder. We're pretty vibing in the mirror match to just stare at each other until they do something. Yeah, we're chilling. Siege Zombie, they're also playing around flip the switch, sure. Would you like to flip the switch or Revenge of the Drowned? We take those. We absolutely take those. Really don't need to kill a Siege Zombie. I think I'm just holding here on the Eaten Alive. And we set up our surveils now. Run out an Organ Hoarder. Island and Swamp to the grave. Island to hand, probably. Another Siege Zombie. Yeah, killing Siege Zombie only matters if you can kill every single copy of it, so I'm really glad I didn't bite the bullet and Eaten Alive the first one, because then the second one would come out. Having 2 copies doesn't really change the ability at all. It's the same difference having 1 or 2 on the board. I do actually want an 8th mana, so I'm okay with that. Because that allows me to Organ Hoarder through a flip the switch in the future. I'd like to draw like instant speed removal if I can to send this in and then like kind of crush their potential double blocks. Start taking my 1 damage a turn. We're down to 19. Okay, you could turn Organ Hoarder into a Decayed Zombie if you want. This is going to be one of those creatures that destroys something that's been dealt damage when it enters. Or it could be just picking up the Organ Hoarder from grave. Yeah, decent. Play an Organ Hoarder, yep. Awkwardly, this is like the perfect matchup for double devious cover-up. Foul play the larger zombie plus draw a card. That's filthy good. Good mills from it at least. 2 more lands in a row. There were 3 lands in a row off the top. Just get a wide enough board to attack with 1,000,000 decayed zombies for lethal soonish. They block 2, 3. Currently, they block 2 3-power creatures and take 13. Actually, not even 13. It's actually 15 damage right now. We're very close. Another siege zombie. Falcon Abomination. Got the mana for flip a switch through this Eaten Alive. I believe we're going for it. If I really want to play around flip a switch, I actually lead with Abomination and sack the Decayed Zombie, and they can't counter either. I feel like that's the play. Midnight Ambush is very good here. Probably prevents the 2-turn kill by a tiny bit. Well, no, it's still 15 damage, yeah. If they can kill the flyer, they're living. They have a 10 damage crackback. Oh, good. Yeah, I forgot about the animation loops. Or the animation chains in Midnight Hunt. You got 8 damage. Go to 8. Goodbye, zombies. Arrogant Outlaw for life gain. Wow, okay. That Arrogant Outlaw is actually insane here. We're going for a 2-turn kill then. I can't attack with Diagraph Horde because then they chump and get a Decayed Zombie to crack back with. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Go to 5, Revenging the Siege Zombie. They draw the Siege Zombie, play it. Go to 4. We draw Falcon Abomination, play it. Oh, the fact that they get a Decayed Zombie off of this too, I think that wins. I don't see how we outrace that. Oh, what a close game. Man. Ping us to 5. Yeah, I mean, it literally kills us right now. They ping us to 5, attack all, and then we die. I guess if they top deck nothing, we actually win if they try to attack all. But did the math slightly wrong? Oh, baby, please. Go to 1, then kill them. Reverse frustrating. Oh! Ah! It's going to be a stressful week of flashback drafts. I think as the format progresses over the week, as more people watch flashback draft videos and draft the format more and see how good blue-black is, we're just going to get into more and more stressful blue-black mirror matches like that. Oh my god. That was a very good deck from our opponent. Very well played. My brain short-circuited and I couldn't figure out how to get lethal there. And I was like, well, wait a second. We're alive at 1 life, and then maybe crackback lethal. Oh my god. Yep. This is another draft showing off the power of blue and black as colors in the set, particularly the blue-black color pair being the absolute best because of how strong these colors are individually and how well they play together. But again, I think both these colors are also just really good in general. Blue, black, and white, any combination of those 3 colors can make one of the strongest decks in the format, but blue, black really does stand supreme. It stands above the rest with a bunch of mega banger common cards that play better than most other colors, uncommons even. Like the best uncommons in green and red are honestly about the card quality of like a Static Awakener or Diagraph Horde, and they're weaker than Organ Hoarder. The color's just so deep. The Eaten Alive here for great removal, Infernal Grasp, Defenestrate for reasonable removal, the Double Revenge of the Drowned was awesome. This deck is just another showing of the power of the blue-black color pair and how that power is really distributed among all rarities. There are some great uncommons like Scab Wrangler and Infernal Grasp and stuff, but there are so many great commons that make the colors so deep, as well as some really strong rares like Memory Delusion stuff. So just everything going well for this color pair, and it really shows off that our first win was not a fluke. This really is just what you should be doing in Innistrad Midnight Hunt if you want to be winning drafts. We've now done it again at the competitive tables here. Platinum right after season reset is essentially the mythic queues. So an excellent draft today, certainly a stressful one in the end. I definitely didn't play it out to my best, but blue-black was more than enough in the draft pod to create an incredibly powerful deck. I think even if half the drafters in your pod are in blue-black, you can still end up with a very solid deck, and this was above that. This was pretty absurd, having nearly a play set of Organ Hoarders and Diagraph Hordes and Ecstatic Awakeners. This deck really had everything you want for the commons going for it. So 7-1 it'll be today. That is 2 trophy runs in a row in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.